Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with JIDE. Here we talk about actions and inactions and things that shape our political and national landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, the fall of Lagos Speaker Mudashiru Obasa. In the course of the program, we take a question, but first subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the master himself, all the way from Kaduna, Babajide Okolade. Good to see you, BK.
Good evening, Ibrahim. Good evening, viewers.
Right. The recent impeachment of Mudashiru Obasa as Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly has sparked significant discussions. There were those who alleged financial mismanagement, others alleged authoritarian leadership style, among many others. But help us understand the making and the falling of the former Lagos influential Speaker Obasa. How did we get here?
First and foremost, Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa holds his emergence as Speaker to Adebayo Oshinusi, the late senator who used to be the unofficial leader of the House of Assembly. He was popularly known as Pepe. He held the House together in trust for the leaders of the party, the elderly leaders of the party. So, upon the departure of Ekuforiji, the lawmaker from Ekpe, the leaders were worried about who should become the next Speaker of the House, because they wanted someone who would show respect to them, who will be approachable, who will be loyal to the party and to the leaders. At that point, Pepe Oshinosi came in and said Obasa was the right person for the job. Remember, Obasa had been in the House for quite some time, and they believed that he could be trusted. So Pepe stood by him, and Obasa emerged as Speaker of the House against the expectation of so many people, because he was a little known political figure at that time, and there were some more charismatic individuals in the House that many people thought could have been made Speaker. So he became the Speaker, and in 2019, there were some opposition to him. He became Speaker in 2015, in June 2015. But with the support of Pepe, he was able to retain his position as Speaker. Then Pepe, who had stood by him as Speaker, went to the Senate. Once Pepe Oshinosi got to the Senate, Obasa effectively installed himself as the absolute leader of the House. And he used this opportunity to get closer and closer to Asiwaju. He had direct access to Asiwaju, who at that time had not become president. So in getting closer to Asiwaju, he became more influential in the political calculus of the state, and Asiwaju loved him exceedingly. And I think it was at this point, banking on the support that Asiwaju was giving him, that he began to see himself as too powerful to be confronted, and in the process, he overreached himself, began to disrespect party leaders to the extent that some of the party leaders that assisted him to get a second term were already disappointed they felt that he had become someone that they could not control. And as he was seeking a third term, opposition came to his exalted position. The governor of Lagos State was known to have supported Tobun, but Tobun failed to unseat the speaker. At this time, Obasa decided to pay Sanwo-Olu in his coins for supporting Tobun, Honorable Tobun, against him. And when it was time for the Sanwo-Olu's commissioners to be screened, Obasa made life unbearable for the governor. A good number of those special assistants and commissioners designate were rejected by the House. It was an unprecedented move. No Lagos governor had his nominees for commissioner, nominees for special assistant rejected in the manner that Sanwo-Olu's nominees were rejected. Of course, Sanwo-Olu also played into his hands because the bulk of the appointments were from Lagos Island, for example, whereas some of the local governments like Alimosho, who had that had always supported the APC, felt shortchanged that the bulk of the appointees came from Lagos Island. So the speaker cited lack of even-handedness, lack of fairness in the appointment of those people. So they began to plot against him, and the Oniru, the popular traditional ruler, was consulted, and Obasa's traducers actually told Oniru that if he supported them, they would make his sister the speaker. That is the person who eventually became speaker today, because they didn't completely stop seeking to take Muda's job. Muda actually also used Oniru's sister as a way of getting Oniru to support him. She eventually became deputy speaker, and it was a kind of marriage of convenience, not born out of anything outside of marriage of convenience. But Obasa punished Honorable Tobun for having the guts to contest against him, and Tobun was removed as chairman of the Works Committee of the House and put in Commerce. So, of course, I've spoken about how the governor was also punished for supporting Tobun by having some of his, many of his commissioners designate and special assistant designate removed. I mean, rejected. Obasa continued to alienate his colleagues, fellow House of Assembly members, by his high-handedness, and the disrespect that he was showing was not to Governor Sanwo-Olu alone. He didn't also respect party leaders, the chairman, Ojelabi, and people like Baba Lucy, and other big party stalwarts. One of the big problems that he created for himself came after the Supreme Court judgment on local governments. He saw it as an opportunity to install his people in the local governments and in the local council development areas. So he wanted the LCDAs scrapped and administrators installed in place of the chairman there. The party, of course, didn't want that to happen, but he went ahead with the amendment of the law. So in June 2024, June 2024, the governor of Lagos State sent his list of Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission commissioners to the speaker. Obasa did not screen those last year members that the governor had appointed. He didn't screen those last year commissioners. He sat on it, and the governor was really concerned. He was worried and wondering why his nominees would not be screened. But the last straw that brought the camel's back, as far as I'm concerned, was what happened on the day of Governor Sanwo-Olu's budget presentation. On that day, the GAC leaders, the Governor's Advisory Committee leaders, President Tinubu, as governor, created that group as a kind of advisory committee for him as governor, who will be advising him on what steps to take. This is a group of very strong party leaders, some of them in their 80s, already old men, who had at one time or another served the state. Some served the state as commissioners, some have served the state as party leaders, some have served as advisors to the governor. So even Governor Ambode is today a GAC member. So he found a way to bring in people who had diverse experiences, who had served the state, made them members of the governor's advisory council. So these people have tremendous influence. When there is crisis in the party, sometimes they will step in to solve the problem. Remember when Obasa and Governor Ambode had issues over budget presentation, these GAC leaders, these old men and women stepped in and resolved the problem. But during the last budget presentation, Obasa kept the governor of Lagos State, the deputy governor, and these party leaders, these GAC members, he kept them waiting for hours. And when he eventually showed up for the budget presentation, he did not apologize to those leaders. And when the governor came in, for the first time in the history of Lagos State, as the governor came in, the lawmakers sat on their seats. Nobody got up to show respect to the governor as he was walking into the assembly chambers. Clearly, they had been instructed to so disrespect the governor. And this behavior was something that got many of the leaders angry because they had not seen anything like that. And there was someone who was speaking when the governor, one of the lawmakers was speaking when the governor walked in. Obasa told him to continue to speak. So the governor felt insulted, and he actually eventually reported the excesses of Obasa to the president when the president recently traveled abroad. And he wanted to know whether the president approved of Obasa's consistent disrespect to his office and disrespect to party leaders. But the president made it clear to the Lagos governor that he had not told him to do the things that he was doing. Obasa tried to bring the House of Assembly members, sensing that the governor and some other people were plotting against him. He actually addressed some of those issues during the budget presentation. He said he was sure that some people were seeking to bring him down, but he noted that it is in Yoruba, it is the person who is fast that Ogun, the god of iron, sides with, which was like a direct statement to the governor of Lagos that, yes, I know that you are plotting to have me impeached, but don't be too sure that you have your way. And he also said that those who live in glass houses do not throw stones. That was a direct message to the governor of Lagos State that he should watch his back, that if you are looking for my downfall, you must
I'll go.
you can't be sure that you will have your way. Now he tried to bring the lawmakers from Lagos State to see the president. He put them in vehicles, but when they got to, that was when he started suspecting that he was going to be impeached with the moves, because these moves were already being made and climaxed around January. So 15 members first signed up to have him impeached. So when they got to Asiwaju's house, the gates were shut against them, and the president uh, did not see him. And that was the day that one of Tobun's children was, Honorable Tobun's children was going to get married. He didn't allow his members to attend the wedding. He took them to Asiwaju's house, but Asiwaju didn't see him. At that point, it dawned on a lot of the members that he had actually lost the influence that he had, on the president. Because in the past, people thought that whatever he said was law, and that the president was always on his side. But with the president refusing to see him, many of the members felt, well, it's like this person does not have the support of the president for all his actions, because people showed respect to him, people deferred to him because they felt the president was always on his side. But the president refusing to see him was a big turning point. And his enemies his enemies in inverted commas didn't stop. They first recruited Oniru to join them in pushing for his removal. After that, they also brought in, they got Oniru to talk to Elegushi, that Elegushi can also support them. After getting Elegushi to support them, they brought in the Oba of Lagos, Akiolu. And after bringing in Oba of Lagos, Akiolu, they got Muri Okunola, the president's the president's principal private secretary. At that point, it was a lot easier for them to turn the president against a man he had backed for years. So, given the situation that he found himself, given that the party leaders had turned against him for disrespecting them on budget presentation day, given that the president refused to see him when he took members to go and see him, given that that he tried to amend the Lagos State local government law, seeking to scrap the local council development areas that Asiwaju created when he was governor, the president had no choice but to turn against it, because it's like undoing what the president had done. The president created those local council development areas to complement the local governments, to bring governance as close as possible to the people. But if you as a house, if you as a speaker decided to have that law amended and remove the chairman and put in place administrators, by scrapping the law that Asiwaju's administration as governor created, you have also shown disrespect to Asiwaju himself. And in amending that law, it also came up with the proposition to have the House of Assembly appoint the chairman of LASIEC, that is the Independent Electoral Commission, and to have the power to remove the LASIEC chairman. So I've not seen any governor who agree to that kind of law, to put that power in the hands of assembly members. So it was clear that his days were numbered, and his enemies had clearly gone far in getting the powerful people in Lagos State to turn against him. People like Sylvester Bukelu, the lawmaker from Ekpe, were in the forefront of getting the signatures that eventually sent Obasa packing as Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly. He was a very powerful politician, skillful in his own right, but humility takes people far in politics. Loyalty takes people far in politics.
That's right.
I think that at some point he had become so powerful, so influential, and he didn't reckon that, yes, people may say that Sanwo-Olu is not a thorough politician, but Sanwo-Olu found a way to penetrate the Lagos lawmakers, and he actually told them that he had been sending money to the House through the Speaker that he was aware was not delivered to the lawmakers, because he called a meeting and told this to the lawmakers, and he found a way to divide them. Sanwo-Olu actually got his pound of flesh.
All right, Miguel. So, but if it comes to think of it, you've actually, taken us through the journey, how it became speaker, what led to his downfall, and all of that. But do you also think the suggestion by some that Obasa's impeachment was influenced by a speculated ambition to contest the Lagos leadership in 2027, posing a threat to certain political interests? To what extent could political ambitions and rivalries, play or have played a role in Obasa's removal from office?
Oh, if anyone said it was because he wanted to be governor, that person must be completely ignorant of what was going on. You cannot disrespect party leaders. Let me tell you, people will say, oh, it was Tinubu that sent Ambode packing. That is a pack of lies. Party leaders, especially the GAC members, they were the ones who sent Ambode packing. They told Asiwaju to his face that they didn't want him to return. Asiwaju had no choice but to agree to do what those party leaders, those old men wanted. Because Asiwaju does not go to the grassroots to run the grassroots by himself. He has to rely on these party leaders, and these are very influential people with so much influence. So when such people are invited to the House of Assembly for the governor's budget presentation, you kept them waiting for hours, and you didn't think you should apologize to them. You are telling them that they amount to nothing. And these are people who have the president's hairs. These are people who have influence. These are people who played their part in making the president who he is today. So if you disrespect such people, there's no way that they won't walk up to the president and tell the president to withdraw his support for you so that they can have their way. I know that at a point, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu wanted to forgive Ambode, but the party leaders refused. And I remember saying on the journalist hangout that a leader is as popular to the extent that the followers want him to. That if you refuse to listen to your followers in politics, you are going to pay a heavy price. And Asiwaju was not prepared to pay that heavy price. He had to succumb to the pressure from the party leaders. Because at the end of the day, they are the ones who run the election. They are the ones who mobilize the grassroots to go and vote. Asiwaju can't come and do that all by himself. He uses people at different levels to actualize his dreams. He cannot do it alone. So no matter how much love he has for you, if you continue to disrespect people that he holds dear, people that he has tremendous respect for, the Baba Olusis of this world, the Mutiu Are of this world, they are going to get the leader, which is Asiwaju at this time. They are going to get him to turn against you. If he does not turn against you, then he is playing with mutiny. And Asiwaju as a person would not want to have mutiny on his hands. He would not want people that had been with him for more than 20 years to turn against him. So this is it. It has nothing to do with his ambition. Absolutely nothing to do with his ambition. People make all kinds of claims. Oh, it's because Sheyi Tinubu wants to contest. How did they know that Sheyi Tinubu wants to contest? For example, because it's early days and anything can happen. Before Sanwo-Olu became governor, he was not, nobody reckoned with him that he was in the race. He came just like a little happenstance and he became governor. He was not one of the forerunners. Nobody knew him amongst the powerful people in the politics of Lagos. He didn't feature at all. The other people that we had in mind eventually didn't get it. So all of the arguments that, oh, it's because he said he wanted to contest. Anybody can say he wants to contest or can drop a notice. That is not enough for you to lose your position. You cannot disrespect people the way he has done without expecting repercussions. I like him as an individual, but the truth is he made some mistakes. We all make mistakes, but those mistakes have come back to haunt him. And you cannot, matter how strong you are.
Some comments. Banji Soto says, Obasa failed to pass the endurance test, debating.
Hello, Brian.
Yeah, BKO, are you there?
Okay. Let me hear you.
Hello, BKO, can you hear me?
Let me hear you.
All right. I guess the network is acting kind of funny.
Okay,
let me take one or two comments and then continue with your analysis, even though just take
the comment.
Yeah. So Banji, Obasa failed to pass the endurance test, deviating from the exemplary standard set by Asiwaju, whom he regards as his mentor. Obasa's okra tree thought it could grow taller than his harvester. Taiwo Odunlade says, good evening, BKO and Ibrahim. Obasa actually shot himself in the leg. I couldn't believe a man of his status could read that speech very bad. Now, Philade says Obasa should have seen this coming. He became a law to himself. He forgot that he was simply first among equals. How Mudashiru Obasa have an opinion that it became draconian that his colleagues, co-members of the House of Assembly could not face him. This is the end of an era. And then he's also asking a question. BKO, do you think Obasa will be able to return as an ordinary floor member of the House of Assembly to complete 10th Assembly, or his aggregate constituency will lose representation for the remaining 28 months? How do you answer that very quickly? I still have one more question.
Well, he will just become a nominal member. That's usually what happens. When you've been speaker and you are impeached, you show up in the house just a few times. You've lost all your privileges, you've lost your position. So you show up in the house on very rare occasions because the humiliation no be here. So he will still remain a member of the house, but his appearances in the house will be extremely limited. So that's what will happen. He will continue to be a member.
All right. That's right. So my final question to you, because we're out of time, is with the election of Mojisola Miranda as the first female speaker, the Assembly has now entered a new era. How can Mrs. Miranda foster unity among Assembly members and ensure a collaborative legislative executive relationship and environment?
Well, I think that she will be a complete departure to, in terms of her style of running the house, she will be completely different. She has the powerful people behind her, and the house is now family on her side, because the last meeting they held, about 37 members were in attendance. 37 out of 40. That's more than what you can call a simple majority. And he has moved in quickly to dissolve all the standing committees of the House. She has made some changes, trying to put her own supporters in place. People would not rock the boat. And some administrative steps have also been taken. Some people suspended, like I think even the clerk. So she's trying to present herself as a new broom, somebody coming with a completely new thinking. And I know that she will never be as high-handed and tough as Obasa, because the lawmakers feared Obasa so much, because they knew he was strong, he could take the big decisions, he could wield the big stick. I do not think Miranda is the sort of person that will routinely wield the big stick, but she will expect to be respected. If you do not respect her, she will move against you. But I see a big contrast in the way she is going to run the House and the way Obasa ran the House.
Interesting stuff. That's our show for today's edition of Issues with JIDE. Special thanks to you, Babaji Paladim, for those insightful analyses as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. See you very soon.
We wish you a safe journey from Kaduna. And thanks to our audience for keeping our company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.